We're starting off high.
We can get
I think
two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
There was you had accountability. Now what I can
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
Trust a human to raise a pack of wolves.
before I would trust a pack of humans to raise a wolf.
Right. I hear you. Yo, what up, fools? Welcome to another edition of Do Fools Agree. As always, I'm your host, Michael Reggie, here with my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings.
What's happening?
What's that? What's going on?
Nothing at all. Tired.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I got a nap in. It was good.
I didn't get my nap in, and I feel like I started dozing off right before.
Right before it was time to go.
It's
the worst, dude. That's the worst.
Right. I'm trying to wake up.
I hear you. I went to try to grab like a quick 20-minute nap like 2 or 3 different times today, and none of them worked until this one about 15 minutes ago. So
Maybe I should have planned for a 20-minute nap.
That's usually my go-to, man. That's usually all I need. If I can fall asleep in that time, I'm usually good to go after that. But I've been trying instead of just trying to grab a nap, I'm trying to take the dog for a walk first. Just to get moving a little bit more.
Good to go for what?
I mean, just to be awake. Like usually 20 minutes keeps me out of REM, and so if I can actually like hit a state of being unconscious for 10 minutes, I wake up being all right.
I think I fall asleep in REM sleep.
Yeah. You mean you are already in REM? You're basically eyes shut and you're in REM.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that explains some of your narcoleptic ass mentality. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I think that's my schedule.
Yeah.
There's no rev up.
Well, I don't know. It's funny with me. I can actually tell whether I got an even number of hours of sleep or an odd number. Because, like, REM cycles are like 90 minutes or some shit. At least that's what they say, 90 minutes to 2 hours. And if I wake up in the middle of one, I'm good. If I wake up at the end of one, I'm groggy. I don't know what it is.
You know on the hour which one you hear it.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I know roughly when I went to sleep and then when I'm getting up, right? I promise, dude, if I get 7 or 9 hours, I feel great. If I get 6 or 8, I feel sleepy. I don't know what it is.
I think you got something against the evens is
Maybe,
what it is.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I've never heard anybody say some shit like that.
I'm just telling you, I think it has to do with like where in my REM cycle I'm at. And I have heard that. Like, that's not just me spouting bullshit. Like, where you wake up during your REM cycle does affect, like, how quickly you wake up or how energized you are when you wake up.
Okay. So what? The idea is that you're out of your REM cycle.
The idea for me is that I have to wake up, like, in the middle of it. So I got to time it right. Like, I got to have the alarm set. For me, it's odd hours.
So are you setting the alarm nightly or are you just body trained to.
trying to get to sleep at a more specific time. Like my alarm is set at 6:30, so I'm trying to be asleep by 11:30 or by like 9:30, or at least in bed.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So, and really, it's when I put the book down. So, am I putting the book down at 11:30 or am I putting it down at 1:30? Is usually what it ends up being. Because I've been trying to, I've gotten back into reading. I'm actually reading one right now, Cliff, that is. I'm trying to decide if it's good or if I'm just interested in the subject matter. Like
What's the subject matter?
So the book opens with this
Space.
No, it's actually on Earth and not too far in the future.
Okay.
And it's not like dystopian or anything, although I think there's some hinting at some of that, but it's not openly that. So the book starts off, and this is all in the first chapter, so I'm not going to consider it a spoiler warning, but
Oh, I doubt you'll be spoiling it
right,
for me anyway.
right. So it is this teacher who's actually using this like robots that have AI in them, but
Uh-huh.
the AI is specifically designed to teach children and like encourage them to ask questions and then ask follow-up questions when they ask questions. Like the whole premise for her is that kids who get answers to questions keep asking questions and therefore like pique their natural curiosity, etc. So she's doing this down in like Honduras, and there's an earthquake and the building she's in like collapses, and she's trying to protect these kids, whatever. Well, this other tech company comes in and they're using nanites to basically like map the entire building and aid search and rescue. So it's positive stuff, right? The whole point of it ends up being like not only had she written this AI that teaches kids, but she's also developed kind of a moral operating system for AI. And so she started this consortium of companies that's supposed to like approve or certify that AI is acting ethically.
Right.
And so the nanite company wants to partner with her because they know that their nanite technology could be like coerced or corrupted into being used for like espionage and that kind of shit. And so the intent there is that they're
Well, that's
building
what you
like
made it for.
they really didn't. Well, who knows what they actually made it for, because that's what the book is, I'm gonna assume, continues to like investigate or evaluate. But like at least on the surface they're using it for humanitarian reasons, helping people out of collapsed buildings, right? So that it's caught my interest, and it's about the nanite company acquiring the AI company, and like there's another kind of side plot around this other AI that she's built, and it's fascinating, and it's kind of caught me. But the whole thing is around like moral or morality for ethical computing,
Right.
which I don't think we have anything like that right now, and that would be that's part of the fucking problem. That's why we have AI that is fucking being told to deny coverage in all cases that it can for health insurance. Like there's
Right.
no ethics in AI, and that's why AI will eventually destroy us, because we've made it to not be ethical.
That book is pretty next level.
I think there's something to be said for the ethics of AI, dude.
That's a pretty next level book you're reading, and it leads me down the path of imagination.
Okay.
And I'm thinking either you're highly concerned with AI and where AI could be going, and you're putting your what do you call it, your hyper focus into fictional books, or you just graduated to the next level.
I think from this perspective, I needed a break from fantasy. So, yeah, sci-fi was my other option. But no, it does make you wonder, like, why isn't that like why isn't that something that's regulated right now?
I
Like,
mean,
if anything, Trump just took all the reins off of fucking AI at this point.
I hate to be the cynicist that I am, but name me one thing that's actually regulated.
I mean, for a long time, chemicals in our water to an extent, at least we knew what they were. Whether you agree with them being there is different, but
When's the last time that that's taken place?
I mean, those are active like laws and regulations right now.
But so is the FDA, and we know we got shit in our food. What does that mean?
Well, and I think that that's a good point. Like, I'm not going to argue the point with you on that.
So I guess that's what I'm getting at is I can't think of one thing that is actively regulated today. And then if I could put my finger on something that they have heavy regulations on, I would imagine that those regulations are only in place because a competitor wants to keep them in a certain position.
A lot of regulations are in place for health and safety reasons, like the whole Monsanto thing and stuff like that. Like,
That's how it's that's how it's pitched to us at least.
fair, also fair.
But we know right now, like just off of Trump being in power, like he's not the only person that wants what's going on right now.
No,
And he's not the only person on his side.
corporations in general want fucking no regulation and to do whatever the fuck they want. This goes back to the government was built to protect the people, not the other way around. But at this point, it's been corrupted and it's been there's another word there and I'm blanking on it, but there's hostile takeover. It's an oligarchic corporations that fucking run shit now.
And it kind of takes my mind to how far back does it go, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I know that to an extent, even the founding fathers, right? Like, they were trying to put things in place to prevent, the system from toppling. But even to an extent, I would argue that those things you put in place were geared towards your interests.
Oh, I think that there's a lot to be said for that. I agree.
So when you think about a regulation, so to speak, like nobody really gives a fuck about people. And I don't mean that
You
like,
say that, and I'm
people
like, but
like
there
don't
are
individually
right.
care. I'm talking about people in power, people with money, people with influence. They don't really give a
No, they
fuck
care
about
about
people.
maintaining their power and their influence.
Right. So
Not
if I'm gonna write this legislation or this regulation into play, what does it do for me?
well, in theory, and I'm not saying this is reality, but in theory, if you're helping the people back home who elected you, you get reelected. The problem is people are fucking dumb and believe whatever they're paid to believe through advertising, through attack ads, through whatever the case is, and no one actually does any real thinking about it. And then on top of that, the only people who are voting are the people who are passionate. The people who don't give a fuck or don't see a point in the system aren't voting, and that's the majority of Americans.
But
And
I
so
don't
then we want to sit here and bitch when, 80% of the country, 60% of the country, whatever it is, doesn't even fucking vote.
but when's the last time that that's had an actual effect, if ever?
Trump getting elected. 8 million people less voted this time around. Like, now, when you're with the two candidates you were put with, I hear you, but I don't know, man. I have a different view on apathy when it comes to voting, and I know you and I just have different views on that, so I don't want to rehash that shit. But
I mean that because that's the whole thing that just kind of boggles my mind is assuming like you're playing a game assuming that the people that you're playing with are playing the game fairly.
No, I mean personally, I think Starlink was responsible for a lot of the election results, but
And I'm not even talking about straight up cheating or straight up vote manipulation. I'm just saying in general, if we've established based off of our first topic of regulation that people in power don't really give a fuck about people, the last thing they're going to do is actually give them power to change the future, which
yeah,
is why you have your electoral colleges and your certain votes, a number of votes that count for a certain population of people. Shit like that is in place so they can safety net the things that they have. So automatically assuming that my vote means something, I really think it's just a gauge for them to see which way the populace is leaning.
I hear you, and I think that that makes total sense when you're looking at federal level elections. You and I have also both talked about like I think it's more important to vote local, and I think local representation. And right now, Ohio is completely overrun and being both gaslit and restricted by our state legislator who is overriding citizen ballot initiatives from the last 5 years between gerrymandering, between abortion, with marijuana. Like they are actively trying to undercut citizen-led initiatives, and that's what
So that,
happens when you put one party in power one way or the other.
I mean,
That's why we need to
I
get
honestly,
back to independent voting.
I honestly think that's what takes place when you allow the populace too much say so.
I hear you.
We never
That's not
expected for
what we established our government to do, though. But
right,
again,
but
it's been co-opted.
right. People in power don't give a fuck about people, right? Because legalizing marijuana is a game-changing event, right? Like, and you would think that it's just as simple as your choice, your right, do what you want to do. But Big Pharma loses hella money with weed
Yep.
legal. Alcohol loses hella money with weed legal. There's a whole lot of people.
Which by the way, alcohol is losing money right now anyways. Alcohol sales down worldwide a
Yeah, I have
significant
heard that.
amount.
I have heard that.
So, to your point, like yes, it's those industries grasping, but at the end of the day, we vote with not only our vote, but with our dollar and what we're willing to pay for.
Your dollar is your only vote.
I do not disagree with that.
Your dollar is your only vote. Because again, there are people on both sides that want what's going on right now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter which way you vote.
No, because it's the same oligarchs that sit behind him.
Right. Like you have to like at some point, I guess that's what's so wild. I guess that's why I get so like in awe when people like just now wake up to lies that are being told to them. And it's like, well, think about back to the beginning.
Right.
Think about back to the Pilgrims and Indians story. The country was built off sabotage. It was built off of wearing a mask, portraying an illusion, and then leading a motherfucker off a
Taking whatever the
cliff.
fuck you want.
Right.
Right.
And taking, right. So now you're shocked that they would do that to you?
Right.
You thought you were in on the game? Did you think you were a part of this too?
But the problem is, and the hope is that the people do still have the power. The problem is the uniting enough to overthrow what is corrupt.
Right, but see, here's the thing about it, and it's interesting, right? Because you heard your grandparents and your great grandparents, if you were lucky enough to have them, say, y'all are always on your phones, you're always on social media, you're always on, shit like that. Go out, get out and see somebody, go out and talk to some, you know what I'm saying? And it's like now we have allowed them to lead us to a place where the only communication that we have with each other is through them.
You mean through technology?
Right.
I hear you.
Through them. So if they wanted to, they could intercept every one of your text messages and reword what you say. And you don't even know that that person is saying what they've said to you through that device that you're holding in your hand.
Right.
It's the attack on community that has led us to a place that, think about it naturally, if the because you are correct, the power is with the people,
But
but the people don't understand that the power isn't in their ballot.
right.
That's not where the power
No,
comes
it's
from.
it's buying local, it's buying small business. It's again, vote with your dollar.
It's uniting together, working to save through community. Again, it's a lot easier to feed a whole gang of motherfuckers if a whole gang of motherfuckers throw a couple dollars into a pot.
Well, what I think's interesting right now, and I've seen a lot of this, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of what what pops off and is able to get traction, but there are a bunch of like TikTok competitors that are sprouting up right now that are crowdfunded, that are supposed to be open source, and well,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of stuff out there that's open source that ends up getting co-opted again. I hear you. But like if nothing else, technology is supposed to be the gap or supposed to be the tool that can level the playing field. The problem is that we've allowed technology in the same way we let communications companies, the same way we let cable companies, the same way we've let our food companies, like they keep consolidating power and they keep buying shit out. There is no reason why the people can't come up with or develop an app that is actually for the people and not owned by a corporation.
Well,
Like
see, here's the
all it
thing.
takes is willpower and
But see, here the whole reason why I said that, why I initiated the conversation with the what your grandparents used to say to you is because the fact that all of our communications are monitored in some way, shape, or form, there's no real way to convene privately.
yeah.
So you can attempt to work on any of those things, privatize TikToks and all that, and all the powers that be have to do is say, "Up, look what's trending in uh what would you call it? Illuminati Twitter. They want a new TikTok that's not run by us. Hey, let's give them a new TikTok that they don't think is run by us, and we'll intercept what they plan on do. There's no way to
You're right. Anything that picks up steam is either going to get bought out or have a competitor pop up overnight that's owned by somebody with more money.
right, right. And their biggest fear would never be you voting against them, right? Their biggest fear is you uprising against them, right? But you can't meet, you can't send a text message saying, "Hey, let's meet on top of Old Town Hill. Everybody bring your guns. We're doing firearms training and we'll talk about where we're going next." You'll have a January 6th situation on your hands. like like the only way that you can really do anything at this point, because the technology, especially with AI being able to comb through so much information in so little time, is to go completely black. You would have to go completely black and go back to postal mail
Yeah.
if you don't have your specific community in
The
place.
post office, which is also privatized and for profit now.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have little old school CIA women in the postal service that are holding your envelopes over a boiling pot of water to read your
No,
mail
honestly,
and then
what it
reseal
would
it
be,
back.
actually, you were talking about AI earlier. What it would be is it would run over a double pane of highlight
Hmm.
glass and then it's scanning the image, and it's actually using AI to translate it through that.
Right.
The same thing that they're doing with like ancient scrolls and shit, where they're
That's
using
why.
AI to basically transcribe and translate.
That's why. Listen, when the universe talks, it's always best to listen, and it's not. It's ironic that everybody, like I said, is going back to that old school way of doing things.
Yeah.
Because before long, it's gonna be impossible to send a hello, good morning without somebody knowing what the fuck you were about to send next.
That's fair.
You got all my information. You have everything. You're even like privatizing your ads to gear them directly towards individual consumers. So one could only imagine if they're using that for ads, what technology they're using for your communication.
Yeah, but advertising and porn have always been at the top of or at the top of the technology thing. Like they
Right.
just have been.
Right, but we're also
Because I
dealing with
swear to God, if I get one more fucking real interrupted ad that is some sexy AI girl saying, "Oh, you can say this and this and this," I'm like, leave me the fuck alone. I don't need your AI porn. I don't.
Yeah, AI. I don't know who's doing the.
No, it's the same young men that have been radicalized into incels that are using, I'm sure, AI porn.
You
I'm
know what?
sure.
That says something, right? Because Lord knows my incel ass enjoys being in the house.
Right.
But I can only imagine the kind of motherfucker that I would be if I did not come up in the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
hear
you
you.
just you just had so much time to do so much before shit got fucked.
Yeah. It was about 97 when broadband kind of became ubiquitous in the US, or at least in Ohio.
Yeah, like after that, like it made it so much harder to do the 90s kid shit that we used to do
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Cliff's house and we're just
nowadays.
gonna ride our bikes around the neighborhood.
Around, yeah, right. Around the whole city, wherever we were. Yeah, I don't. So I get it. I mean, I guess I get it. I guess I get it. They're like, you never used your dick before. Like, of course you need a rhino pill, a Cialis, a Viagra, this new one that we just dropped. They dropping fucking erectile dysfunction medication like Jordan releases. Like, it's a new one that comes out,
Nah,
a
man.
blue one,
Nah,
a
man.
red one, a pink one, a
It's like
gummy.
it's like Mountain Dew flavors or
Man,
Gatorade flavors at this point.
goodness fucking gracious. And what are they using it for?
What do you mean?
What are you using the pill for?
Oh, I mean, you're either getting some or you're not. So yes, I
Well,
hear
that
you.
was the assumption would be that you're an incel anyway, right?
No, I don't think so. I honestly think that the rise in ED is due to increased levels of stress in the population. Either that, or to your point, it's chemicals in our food and water that are shutting shit down, and this is another drug that counteracts the side effects of all that. I mean, wasn't Viagra originally developed as like low blood pressure medication?
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh shit, it makes their dicks hard."
They had the little Pineapple Express laboratory set up. Kathy, come here. Why Why are all of them pitching a tent? Did they all take that? This is the trial medication that they took? Excuse me, before you send that out, we need to change some things in the publicity here. Fuck the blood, fuck the heart. Their dicks pump. They're pumping our dicks now. We're pivoting. But isn't that the same way? That's the hella shit was like that.
Oh yeah, that they are using it to treat, or they're developing it to treat one thing and then find out it works for something else all the time.
The microwave was originally a weapon. Margarine was used in the war for what the fuck is it now?
Was it just oil? Like grease?
I don't know what it was specifically. My mind's blanking out.
It feels like that would just be used, to keep a weapon from locking, jamming, like literally almost like WD-40. I don't know.
And now we spread Vaseline on our bread before we have toast in the morning.
Man, I've been trying to get back to or away from processed foods. It's hard sometimes, but I think I'm getting there.
How? How are you getting there? What
I
are
mean,
you
like
doing?
mixed nuts, more fruits and veggies. I actually, you know what has become my go-to snack during the week?
What?
I get you know how they sell in the Kroger like the beef cubes, and they always say it's like for stew or whatever. I tell you what, man, just throw those in the air fryer for a little bit with some seasoning. I just snack on those
Oh,
like
okay.
beef
I
cubes.
know. I know exactly what you're talking about. I thought you was talking about like them bouillon cubes. I was about to say, nigga,
No. Like even with just a couple of diced up chicken breasts or chicken
like
thighs
stew
too.
meat.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And just trying to get away from whatever. All right, so you brought up the 90s, and the title of the episode is around 80s movies, and it kind of actually ties into our conversation that we were just having, because I was watching RoboCop, all three of them with the kiddo this past week and a half or so. And the whole premise of RoboCop is a mega corporation trying to take over Detroit. And yes, RoboCop is originally built by said mega corporation, and he's going after like drug dealers and shit. But what we find out throughout all of this is that the megacorp is actually funding the drug dealers and funding the drugs so that they can basically effectively buy out the city and say we can run it safer, when they're the ones
Right.
basically. It's kind of like Emperor Palpatine. He's in charge of both sides of the war. And I don't remember that plot line at all from RoboCop. That one, that it was a megacorp. Two, that it was, trying to build company towns.
Is that where the Mandela effect comes from?
What do you mean?
Like, is it like a situation like just based off of like the title of the show tonight? Is it a situation where it's like a new regime comes in play, like the new guard, and
Maybe.
they're like, my father, they told them too much. Like
Right.
they shouldn't have said
So
all
they're
of
going
that
back and
shit and
rewriting
all of
all this
these
shit.
right. So the movies are being changed and all kinds of shit. So
I
it's
mean,
like
I've said that a couple of times, that I think the Mandela effect is a psyop, where
to
they
see
are
how much
actually
people would
going back
notice.
and trying to rewrite history and seeing if people are if the basically seeing how quickly they can
They
rewrite
already
history.
did it. They already did
What
it.
do you
Now
mean?
you want to rewrite history?
Yes, it's rewritten by whoever's in power, bruh.
You want to fucking
It happens with every regime change. Trump's just being fucking overt about it.
I don't know.
So,
I don't know if it like I don't know. What do you mean by every regime change?
I mean, whoever's in power at any given time is going to rewrite history to suit their needs.
Well, see, okay, so I guess there's a difference in my mind between like you providing your interpretation on the events that took place
But that's
and
all history.
legitimately.
That's all history is, though. Unfortunately, it's the interpretation of the victors. Like it is.
But
Why do you think?
that's not
Why do you think Jesus is white, Cliff? Because the Roman Empire and the peoples of Western Europe won wars.
right. But I mean that okay. So that I feel
Because
like that's
Jesus wasn't
different
white.
though.
Like let's be clear. Like we know he wasn't white.
I feel like that's different though,
It's
right?
not
Because
though. It's the exact same thing.
no, because that's your interpretation of the events. Like that's different from rewriting history.
No, it's not. How is it different?
Because rewriting history in my mind would be something along the lines of like slavery, like what they're doing like with the books down in Florida, like basically saying that
Oh, that we invited
slave
them over.
right,
Right.
that's
But if you start saying that now, that's 50 years from now, that's just another interpretation of history.
but no, but you see how that's not an interpretation though. That's
I'm
just an
sure
all out
I'm sure
lie.
I'm sure Jesus and the apostles were pissed that they were made to be white.
I'm sure of that too. I'm sure of that too. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure they were kind of
It's
taken back by
who's around to remember the truth, Cliff. That's all it is.
okay. I guess what I'm hung up on, right, is I'm less concerned by the complexion of Jesus. I would be more concerned, and it would fit what I'm attempting to explain if they said Jesus wasn't crucified. He was invited to a meal and asked to leave Jerusalem. Now you've rewritten history because that's not what took place. I don't give a fuck what color he was. You can interpret that any way you'd like. But what took place was a man was crucified, nailed to a cross, and you're trying to say you invited him to a dinner and asked him to leave your area.
Well, the argument would be that the story of Jesus is a co-opt of whatever from the Sumerian texts, and the crucifixion just fit the narrative at the time because that was the punishment of the time.
Right.
So we don't know how he actually died. You know what story you've been told. And it's a story about something that happened over 2,000 years ago. So who knows how much it's been edited, how much it's been rewritten.
Oh, I'm sure it has. I'm sure. I'm absolutely positive. I'm sure it has. But that's something that
You
all
just
we
don't
can
like it
do.
because it's challenging your beliefs on this.
What?
What you know to be true. That's why it's uncomfortable.
Why? What's
but you have
uncomfortable?
but you have no idea if that really happened. So you can talk about it
No,
being history all you want, but it
you're
could just as
absolutely
easily
correct.
have been myth, fable, parable that has become what it's become because enough people and enough people in power had the technology, the people, the resources to propagate that message.
Right. No, you're absolutely correct. But I feel like we're splitting straws here because the original was that we already know that you've changed history. Of
By
course,
the way, my mom chimed in, and I guess she said the same thing I did, which is, how do you know he was crucified?
right, and that's fair to say, right? But again, we're splitting hairs because of course nobody has lived long enough to know what took place back
that
before the
we know about.
and all that. But we have great grandparents that lived in slave shacks. We know those stories. That's recent. You feel what I'm
No,
saying?
I hear
Now,
you.
what you're explaining would be like somebody saying Jesus was white while Jesus was still alive.
Yes. And I'm sure it started when he was still alive. And even if it
What?
didn't, it doesn't matter. My point is that as eventually you will be the last person the people who are alive right now will be the last person to quote unquote hear firsthand accounts of the way things were.
Right.
And so at that point, it is just interpretation because no one is alive to dispute it.
See, I don't know. That may be a cultural thing.
No, I hear you because it should be based on, I mean, but that, and it's funny because I finally found some books around Celtic mythology. And the reason why it's so hard to find is that Celtic mythology was not written down like when everything else was being written down. It was traded as oral history longer than other stories had started to become written down.
Right.
And so they got co-opted by Christianity the same way everything else did.
Right.
Because Christianity was written down and it was mass produced.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that was the same thing with Africa
I
and all that.
completely agree. That's my point. Neither one of us know our history, Cliff. We know what history white Christians have told us to believe.
You better shut your Celtic ass up. You ain't in this boat. You ain't on Amistad, motherfucker.
But honestly, a lot of us are. Like, because we don't have, it goes back to even your point you were making, Cliff. It goes back to not having that sense of community, not having that sense of family. We've lost our oral history. We've lost our oral traditions. We've lost our culture to this mass-produced nonsense, whether it's Christianity in the Bible or Marvel in the MCU. Like, we don't have our own stories anymore. We don't have our people's stories anymore, no matter where the fuck you came from.
You know, I agree for the most part. And then beyond that, like even the stories that do get passed down, like they've done a job on people's attention spans to the point that nobody's sitting around and just having verbal communication like that anymore.
Right.
And if you are, how much of it are you retaining while you're scrolling through the gram?
Right.
While your grandfather's telling you about how things used to be.
Right. Or Mima. There's something to be said for it. All right. So that was RoboCop.
Yeah, that's it. But I mean, that's it though, right? Like that's what's gonna take place in the future.
Yeah. I mean, we're already heading towards, and I assume you're talking about megacorps and building cities. Or are you still talking about
I'm
just
talking about
rewriting history?
no, I'm talking about RoboCop in general. Like, please believe it. They'll always have someone or something playing both sides.
Yeah, it's what our current government is doing now. That is the Democrats and the Republicans.
Right. So I mean that's not shocking there either, right?
Right.
Like the only thing shocking about it is again that some old geezer thought that would be a nice scene to add in a movie for you know what I really think it is? I think that we're just recycling devils.
I mean, probably.
Like I think we're just recycling
because it's the same
lineages.
because it's the same 12 families that still run shit.
Right. I think we're just recycling lineages of devils, and these devils are so I don't know what the word I want to use is that they're like, I don't give a fuck. I'll be gone by the time they figure it all out.
Right.
Put it in the fucking movie.
Right. Right.
Put it in the movie, and then when they have their aha realization moment, I'll be smiling in my grave with my hard dick because I got buried with 10 prescriptions of Cialis.
Here's another 80s movie for you, Cliff. What do you think? What do you think Land Before Time was trying to tell us?
Oh shit, was that 80s?
Yeah. 88.
Oh, okay. I would have guessed 89. I thought that was right on the cusp. I
This
don't
actually brings
know.
up a big question for me. You got anything for it?
It brings up a big question for you. I mean, you just kind of threw that at me, right? Like, I
I
don't know
did.
that I've seen
I've just got to
Land
listen.
Before Time in at least 25
Well,
years, you know?
I
Like,
would say that it's got some of the 80s and 90s, hey, let's kill the parents vibes.
really?
Yeah, a lot of animated, a lot of children's movies. Parents are murked in the first,
Oh, you
30
mean
minutes
like
of the movie.
Bambi and all this shit like
Lion
that?
King, all that. What's a movie recently what's a kids movie recently where the parents get murked though? These kids aren't going to know how to handle death, man. We were traumatized from a young age. Optimus Prime died, Cliff. They killed Optimus Prime. They killed Littlefoot's dad. They killed Bambi's mom. They killed Mufasa. Like these kids don't have that. These kids don't have somebody that they've lost and have been attached to in a movie.
You're saying it starts with cartoons, huh?
I am, and I think it prepares us for loss and trauma. I'm thinking through like recent movies. I mean,
I really can't
I guess Frozen the parents die, but you don't ever get to know them. Like they're dead at the start.
do they. Yeah, they don't show them, do they? Maybe Up,
Up because he loses his wife.
the old lady, maybe
All right.
Coco.
Coco, I guess because the grandma dies at the end. Like, yes, it deals with death, but everybody else is already dead. You know what I mean? Yes, the grandma dies at the end. But even though the grandma dies, like they're still there. You know what I mean? Like he can still see them.
Yeah, he can,
I hear
right?
you. Right. And he's the main character, so he is representing the audience.
Wait, what?
I would say he's the main character, so like the audience is seeing things through his eyes. So like
Right, right.
they're still there for him.
Right, for him, but not for all everybody else.
Well,
Like
it
I
comes
would
down to I
argue
guess
that
faith.
that's realistic to an
Okay.
extent. Like,
All right.
some people are more closely connected in a way that others aren't. That I'm sure there are people that, still have a presence of someone that they've lost even though they're not around. But I mean, either way it goes, like I guess the key there is the pitch.
Yeah.
And I do think that it's like pitched a lot more gently now than it was in our era.
Yeah. Definitely
As
more
well as
gentle.
it's few and far between, like every movie somebody died back in the day. Like
Right.
you was just waiting to
Waiting
see
for
who it
some
was.
right, right.
And if there was somebody black in the cast, you knew who it was.
Yep.
The question was, how long do they last?
Yeah.
Now, the motherfucking relationships and toothpaste commercials are white and black, so you can't kill off the husband in the
Right.
first
Right.
30 seconds of a Crest commercial or anything. But we're going in different directions.
Directions
They
here.
would have never advertised that back in our
No.
day.
No.
There would have not been biracial anything on TV back in our day. Make America great again, Trump. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Let's see.
I'm just playing.
All right. Tron and Total Recall, I think, had the same message, and it was about the dangers of AI. Or the dangers of virtual reality, rather. Sorry.
Right. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think that we've lived to.
Terminator was the dangers of AI.
Right. And I honestly think that we'll hit Terminator long before we hit Tron.
Yeah. So
Hell yeah.
you think we'll get to
The dangers of AI before the
robot
danger.
robot warfare before we get to more of society just living their life in the virtual world?
Well, I mean, I ask myself at least, how could you make them?
What do you mean?
How can you make society fall into these pods?
You give it away for free. That's what they did in Ready Player One in the book. Being able to access the Oasis, I think they said it cost a quarter. Because they knew they'd make their money on you once you were inside of it.
See, I don't think that's enough.
No. I think
Especially,
the reason why AI has struggled so much, or not AI, the reason virtual reality has struggled so much to date is it's cost prohibitive. I think if somebody were to come out and drop something that is, just as good or better than the Quest, the Meta Quest, or whatever they're calling it
I
these
don't think
days,
it's well.
the
First and foremost,
Oculus.
I don't think it's immersive enough to ever be.
I don't think it's there yet, but the fact that we got there over the course of really 3 to 5 years, 10 years from now.
I still think they're reaching.
Yeah.
Like
I
like
think
you
they
said,
have
they
to
would
get
have to
rid
have
of I
an
think they've got
entire
to
pod type
I
situation.
think they've got to get rid of physical controllers. I think you have to get to the haptic gloves. You have to get to at least haptic gloves, if not haptic suits.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the headpiece thing.
Well, that's the thing is that I think they are actually closer to that being no longer a thing than we think they are.
And
Because
where would
even
you
even
go?
you would go to something as small as a pair of glasses, dude.
But see that I guess that's what I'm getting at though, right? That's what doesn't make it so immersive. Like the fact that there's space, there's you know what I'm saying?
I'm with
You're
you.
not in the
So the tech that they talk about in Ready Player One, it's funny because Andrew and I are reading this right now, so this is why it's top of mind. Is that the image is actually projected directly into your retina versus it being a screen. Like VR today, it's a screen inside of some goggles, and to your point,
right.
yes, it's not as immersive. But the second you can project the image directly into your eye, which they are doing to an extent in other applications, like medical applications now.
But see, even still, like in order to do that, you would have to have some sort of chip or Neuralink or something along those lines.
You would still have to have something you're wearing. I don't think you would need a chip or anything. Like
So what are
literally
you
it's
saying, like a
figuring out
contact lens type situation?
not even. Think of it as those old school projectors, that flash images onto a screen.
Right.
It perfectly flashes it into the shape of your eye. So that no matter which way your eye is looking, it's seeing what the image is that's being projected.
And what would that be that's doing that? A headset?
Doesn't have to be a headset, but yes, it would still have to be glasses. It would have to be something in front of your face. But I hear
Either
you. I hear you on it needs to be more immersive, regardless of what the technology is. I agree with you on that.
and it would have to be like I would argue that you would have to be like in a pod type situation. Like it couldn't be that you were just in your living room wearing contacts because everything would lead you like you mind might be getting tricked, but your feet still feel the carpet.
Yeah.
Your feet are still stepping
Well,
on
and
your charger cord next to
that's
you.
that's where I came back to until you can do something that makes it actually tactile on your hands. So like haptic gloves. And to your point, maybe it's gloves and shoes, and then it's sensors, knee pads, sensors, elbows. I mean, and maybe sensors on your shoulders. Like at that point, that it's reading your actual physical movements.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
would
would
think
think
that
that
you would either have to have a either AI that's going to force people into a scenario like that, or you would have to have the outside world so fucked up that people are like, I'm just gonna go to
and
get in.
that's why the Oasis became the Oasis was because the world outside went to shit. Like resources were slim, energy was slim, clean food and water were slim. So
But how
people
does
were
that
escaping.
help?
How does that
How
help
does
that? It doesn't, but it helps you ignore it. And what have we found out already about society, Cliff? We're more than happy to ignore how shitty we're being treated. All right, so that hits Tron, Total Recall. Obviously, we've got Terminator.
Yeah, AI first. AI, it would be AI issue before it ever be a
Virtual
VR
reality issue.
issue.
Well, I actually think that they end up going hand in hand. AI
Really?
causes the issue. Virtual reality is seen as the solution by a bunch of people.
Why would see now?
Dude, it's the same reason why the internet's popular. It's the same reason video games are popular. It's the same reason streaming services are popular.
I
It
would
helps you
hate.
ignore the outside world.
I hate to just be like morbid, but anybody that would fall for that deserves everything that takes place to them, right? Like, I don't see how you could even pitch that. Like, AI is the issue, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fix the issue by
I
giving you
didn't say
something that could
fix.
be
I didn't say
controlled
fix.
by the very issue that you have.
I said ignore, not fix. You're right. People who want to fix the issue, that's not the solution. People
Even
who just want to
ignore.
hide and ignore, it is.
If you're the issue, if the AI is the issue, why am I then hopping into a world that can be controlled by the issue?
Because it gives you a sense of control. It gives you a sense of freedom. Like the whole pitch behind the Oasis and Ready Player One is you can be anything, you can be anyone, anything, anywhere, and do anything you want. And you may not feel empowered to do that in your real life. Like, I can't go out and rob a bank in real life because I got a family, and if I get caught, I'm fucked. They're fucked. But I can go do it in a virtual reality and get at least some portion of the kill, the thrill, whatever it is.
I guess that's so you just the experience. Do
Again,
they
it's
think niggas is robbing banks for the experience?
no,
Is
but
that
what
what
I'm
they think?
well, and I hear you on that, and I don't disagree with that. That's where I said, the fix your standing or address your standing versus hide from.
I mean, but I wouldn't doubt that these motherfuckers aren't so disconnected that they don't really think that people are robbing banks for the experience.
Yeah,
Like that's not why the motherfuckers robbing the bank, sir. They need the money in it.
right.
They need to buy shit to feed themselves. So why would I be like, you know what? This world is fucking me over. Let me hop in my VR and rob a bank. Let me hop in my VR
Yeah, you
headset.
wait, pause. You say that, but what was one of the most popular video games of the last 10 years, Cliff?
What, GTA?
Yes. So don't tell me that this is bullshit. Because we've already proven its reality as it is right now, man.
But that's different
No,
though.
it's not. It's not
No,
any
it
different.
is completely
It
different
is not
because
different at all.
it is. It is. Now, you can argue that this is going to take over PlayStation or Xbox as a gaming device. You can make that argument, but you can't compare the two for the simple
But
fact that they're.
it opens it up to more people. Because
What's
part
that
of the
mean?
intimidation with gaming consoles is I don't know how to play a video game. But if all I'm doing is going into some fictional reality, and to your point, it has to be intuitive enough, easy enough to control, easy enough to be immersed, it opens that gate more than it is with current console systems.
Yeah,
And
but it
current
doesn't.
console systems are already, the video game industry is already an $8 billion industry or
Right.
$10 billion industry.
And the reason why that is because everybody who's still alive today has come up with some sort of video game system
Yeah. And
around them.
and
You know what I
in
mean?
and in 30 years, 20 years, no one will have been alive that didn't come up with a video game system. So it's going to be even more comfortable for people.
Right. But the VR headset again, the only way you frame it that way is if you frame it like this is the new gaming system. This is the new.
I think that's how it starts, but you got to imagine too, Cliff, like the popularity of even VR today. Part of the reason why it hasn't found commercial success is one, yes, it's still janky and you still have to use controllers to control it. But imagine a world where that's how you take your vacation now. You can't afford to go overseas and go see Stonehenge, but you can hop in virtual reality and actually feel like you're walking around it, and it's photorealistic quality at that point. That
I mean
opens
that
the door to more than just video games.
that's some motherfuckers with the Oculus
Right
One.
now, no, I agree, but it's not. But it hasn't hit the one. It's still a very high cost point to do that. Two, the tech isn't good enough yet. But I don't think we're that far away from the tech being good enough.
But see, in
I mean,
that
look at the
even
quality. Look at the quality of graphics on your phone, man. Like how much that's changed in 15 years. Give it another 15 years, they're going to be able to make you feel like you're somewhere else.
But I guess that's what's weird about it, right? Is because you have the technology to build quantum computers and AI systems and all that, but you got a calculator that motherfuckers are wearing on their heads looking
Yeah,
at
we're
YouTube
because they
videos.
haven't. Part of the problem there is that I mean, they came out with the first pair of AR like glasses almost 15 years ago. But nobody bought them because they were too expensive. Like you have to hit the right price point or it's never going to hit scale. And that's what phones did. Phones didn't start off with the $1,000 phone. Phones started off with like $100 phone, and all it did was call and text. And then you had the iPhone come out, and when it first came out, it was only like $350. Now, if anybody actually looks at what it costs to buy a phone free or free and clear, like it's thousands. It's $1,200. It costs the same as a computer does.
Right.
But you've structured contracts and cell phone companies in a way that they eat the cost because for them to provide you the data doesn't cost them anything because all they're paying for is the initial infrastructure build and everything
Right.
after that is fucking profit.
But I guess my concern is that everybody doesn't have an iPhone. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Like even after those
But the
15, 20 years, you
that's
haven't.
actually a great question. Let's see what that is. What's the smartphone? And we're just going to talk about the US. Approximately 91% of Americans own a smartphone.
Yeah, but I mean, I would also say
So
what
that's
like.
a $1,500 device that 90% of Americans own.
Well, see, that's where
And
I
I
was about
hear
to
you. A
push
lot of
back.
people have older ones and older
Right. What
models,
are
and
you
yada yada yada.
considering a smartphone?
Something
And
that
there
can
is no.
access the internet and run apps.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, there is no distinction of that when it comes to VR.
Not at first, there won't be.
Well, I mean, at first there is, right? Because you have your Oculus Ones and your
Right.
PS VRs and your, all of that bullshit. But in order for it to be a uniform, we trying to transfer niggas over to pods now
But
and virtual reality.
you already see what we're seeing with like Sony and Microsoft, right? Like neither one of them are dropping exclusive titles in the next like the amount of exclusive titles for PlayStation or for Xbox has dropped significantly.
Right.
And it's gotten worse now that Microsoft has bought up a bunch of the major studios.
But what does that have to do with anything?
Because what I am saying is at some point there's not going to be a delineation between a Quest and a VR2 or a PSVR2 or a HTC or whatever. like they're all going to run the same software, even if it's different hardware.
Right. No, I definitely agree. Right. But okay, so it goes back to the smartphone conversation, right?
Yep.
Like, how many people are going to have the software to be able to run like a pod situation?
You mean the hardware?
The hardware, right? Not the software, the
The
hardware
hardware is the actual like
to run a
technology that
pod
you're in.
situation. Because don't get me wrong,
But
I'm
that's
an
why I'm
iPhone
saying
user too.
it won't be a pod. It will have to be something that is worn, can be slipped on, can be stowed, can be discreet to an extent. So I hear you, and I think you want it in like in your mind. The only way that you get the immersion is a pod. I think that they will have something that isn't a big pod sitting in the middle of your living room. And I do think it starts with haptic gloves
Right. I
and
mean, either way, it's
maybe
not going to be
feet.
enough people that, like, if that's something you're going to have to force people into.
I I don't think so. I think it is all a price point. And if somebody were to come up with something that was low price and it was running a software that was as to the point, like as immersive as near reality, I don't think it's a problem to get most majority of people into it.
Yeah, no, I really do. I think it's something like a smartphone to an extent. Like now, you can't even have a job nowadays without
Right,
having a smartphone.
right.
So it would have to be something along those lines, like where the government is saying we're only offering employment through virtual reality,
Yep,
but you have to have one of these devices or newer to be eligible for employment at these,
yep.
look, it's gonna have to be a way that you're forcing someone into that situation. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like physically forcing them, but like that, like
Okay,
financially,
that's fair. That right there is fair.
like,
But
because even
financially
me,
or
like, I wouldn't have a
culturally or whatever.
smartphone if I didn't need it, like, for a job nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even though I do need my smartphone for a job, you think I'm gonna have your iPhone 19? No,
Unless they're providing it to you.
excuse me, Miss. Even still, for real, like, I
If
don't
that's
want.
but if that's a requirement of employment, you don't have a choice.
Right, right. But I mean, at the same time, if you're not requiring or providing it to me, that's not nowhere I'm working.
Right. Completely agree until all the jobs are through that because what they determine is, hey, we don't need people to, I don't know, work at McDonald's, but and we have robots, but we need somebody to control the robots.
Right. No, I definitely understand like where you're going with that, but that even that there, right? Like it's a tight rope because one, what are you paying them? That's number one. Are you paying me enough for me to buy a device to get this job?
Again, they could be giving it to you as part of the job. I mean, most corporate companies give you a laptop. You don't have to bring your own laptop.
No, that is the case, but
So
that
how
would
would that be any different?
but wouldn't that then still defeat the purpose? Because if someone does not have a job, they're not distracted.
I hear you.
And that's
And
more of an
yes.
issue.
And yes, however, it comes down to again, it's a numbers game. If you still have, less than 5% unemployment, but the other 95% are on their virtual headsets doing their virtual jobs, is that 5% really a threat?
Well, it depends on what the 5% is doing.
Maybe.
It definitely depends on what the 5% is doing because if that, like, you got to think about what we're feeling right now in the way the world is.
I agree. To your point, if they've opted out of the system, it actually kind of goes back to, you remember when we did the video on like basically the evolution of AI, and it took us through like 300,000 years
Mm-hmm.
from the advent of sentient AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that happened was that like there were humans that didn't want to participate, and they went and
Right.
lived on like their own islands or whatever.
Right.
Not a threat. So AI left them alone. Or in our case, the corporations left them alone because fine, they want to opt out. That's okay as long as they're not trying to subvert us.
Right. And that, I mean, that's understandable once you get to a point that you're controlled by, or once the AI can implement all forms of your control.
Right.
But even that's going to take a while before you get there, and a lot of kinks that'll be worked out along the way. But my whole point in saying, look at where we are now, is we have virtually a lot of our freedom still. Like, things are pretty uncomfortable for us, yes, but we do still have a lot of our freedoms, and people are still fed up to the point of taking out CEOs and important corporate figureheads, right? And that's where we are now.
Yeah.
So to assume that where we will be when we get to a point that a simple McDonald's job will require a VR headset, I can only imagine that those 5% that opt all the way out of being involved would have to be monitored
Yeah.
at a government level. Because
Well,
if you're not working, what are you doing?
right.
Like, are you plotting? Are you upset? Like, are you mad
But
that you
again, if
don't
you only
have?
have to monitor 5% of the population, that seems doable.
But see, it's tough though, right? Because that 5% can be scattered. It could be a part of households. It could be so much. And then when you think about VR in general, and that's probably why you're trying to move all funds to a blockchain and shit, but
Yeah.
I can only imagine crime would rise, right? From that 5%.
Possibly. And again,
You have
this is
something over your face. If somebody kicks your door in, it's going to take you 15 seconds to unhook. And now you got the world in that situation. So before, where you were concerned if someone could be alert next to their firearm in their house, you know that you have a 15 to 30-second window from the
right.
moment you boot a door to somebody being able to react inside of their VR headset.
Yep.
Like, I mean, it's a whole lot that comes with that I guess my only question is when do we get the Freaky Friday?
Oh, you mean
Not Freaky
OG?
Friday, Weird Science.
All right, weird science. Go for it.
No, I'm just asking as a, like right now, like you complaining on your phone about how they advertising AI girls, but when do we get to a point where you can print one? Just
right. Right.
print one directly to your living room, like.
Well, first they have to get the AI right, and then it's just a matter of sex toys and robotics.
Is that how you think they print it?
I don't think you would actually print it. I think you would custom order an existing robot and then imprint the personality and looks from your AI girlfriend.
That's not Freaky Friday, though.
I hear you. It's not weird science. I hear you.
Or, I mean,
However,
Weird Science. Why do I keep saying
but I
Freaky
think that
Friday?
I think that gets you to the same end result.
I don't know. I think I'd trust a Weird Science over a AI bot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the Weird Science was printed. Like she was kind of like, like lasered in. You feel what I'm saying?
I
Like
hear you.
there's no hard parts involved.
Well, it's 3D printing.
Like, what's the bite force of a sex robot? You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the questions
These
that
are the
people
questions
should
that
be
you have.
asking. Like, you're worried about the wrong shit, G. Like, you wanna be in a
I mean,
relationship with the AI.
here's the flip side is I don't think that they've made a sex toy yet that can actually simulate a blowjob. So I think we're still a ways off. Like
What are
there are definitely some realistic looking just dolls. They
what's the
talk about it
Kegel
on
pressure?
Pornhub all the time with the what is it, the Tantalese?
What's the
Those
Kegel
look
pressure?
realistic.
I mean, I'm
I
just
think that
saying,
that's easy. I think that that's easier to do than oral, personally. Like, because
but
that's one point of pressure.
they're made up of gears, right? Like you don't know that they wouldn't just grind your shit. Like you don't know, like it's just silicone over gears and shit.
Yeah, but they can make lightweight, like even the ones that are quote unquote posable. I do not think we are far off from semi-realistic robots at this point. And then it's just the operating system. And to your point, like attachments for sex activities, fine.
So, okay, so next question. She has to have a wire out her back?
Why would she need a wire? There's wireless
Uh
charging shit today.
okay, so you just talking about like sitting there on the charging station situation.
Yeah, just magnetic charging. Maybe she has those two little like magnet things in the back of her neck, and it's one of those magnetic chargers. Like it looks like a plug, but it's really just held on by a magnet to charge.
Right. It's still a vehicle.
How much of a bummer would that be to be like halfway there and then for her to go? Mm.
And
Would
now
you
it's the
finish, Cliff?
AI
Cliff, would you
equivalent of
finish?
necrophilia.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, you probably have to, right? Like, if you're getting blue balls from a
From
AI
AI.
robot, that's a new low.
Then we're back to the incel conversation.
That's a new. That might be when God ends the world.
He's just done.
The first motherfucker to get blue balls from an AI robot, he's like, listen, I know I told y'all I wouldn't flood this motherfucker again, but y'all pushing my hand.
All right, last group of 80s movies for you because there were a fair amount of time travel movies. So what were time travel movies trying to tell us?
What do you mean?
I don't know. What was the
I think
message
that's
behind
English. I think that's English right
like
there.
don't go back in time or
I mean,
time
yeah,
travel is not to
essentially,
be fucked with?
right.
Which probably means we invented it. They thought it might get popular and then they were like, "You know what? We probably shouldn't do this."
It's like flying cars and shit. Like, they was going around to everybody's middle school back in the 90s talking about how we be in flying cars in the 2000s.
by 2025, yeah.
And I'm sure that could have been a possibility. But then they were like, these crazy uneducated motherfuckers ain't about to be flying around the skies dropping metal parts from you
They
know what
can't
I'm
drive
saying?
regular cars. We have 100,000 accidents per day in regular cars.
And what you think gonna happen if a 2-ton helicopter smashes into each other at 10,000 feet and
Right. Everybody below is dead.
fucks up the whole neighborhood? Yeah, nah. Like, yeah, no, I just think that it's like we said at the beginning of the show. Like I think the devil lineage is like, I don't know what the fuck my father was thinking, but flying cars, the average IQ is 79. What was like, why did he even put that in their little hamster heads that
Right.
they would have? That's where we're at, and that's why we have the Mandela effect.
There you go. All right. Any other movies you want to talk about or anything you want to talk about before we close out?
Um, I mean, it's hella movies when you think about it. Like,
There are.
the invasion of the body snatchers, all them joints was like really just, Simpsons episodes that they was putting out. But don't nobody go back and do that. Everybody's so infatuated with The Simpsons, but
Right.
nobody's pulling up old movies to see what they done told you or what's already come to fruition.
That's how we got to this point with the RoboCop conversation, because I didn't fucking remember it being about a megacorp trying to take over a city.
Isn't it always an incel with newspaper covered windows in their grandmother's basement that's like looking up all the old movies, putting together pieces in like all the movies are like that.
Yeah.
Men in Black, the Independence Days, the Pixels with Adam Sandler, the all of them. There's always an incel that studies movies. That's like they said this in the 1989 John Witherspoon's To Kill a Fucking Mockingbird. That's what
What was that
happens.
movie? The Roswell, New Mexico.
I'm just telling
You don't
you.
think that they're
So
actually spent $50,000 on a toilet seat, $100,000 on a hammer, do you? Those are all
that would
Those are all
actually.
Independence Day quotes, by the way.
Yeah, no, you knew that was gonna go over my head.
That was the dad of.
The ghost, not the Ghostbuster. He was a Ghostbuster, wasn't he? He wasn't a Ghostbuster. No, he
Maybe
wasn't a
even Jurassic
Ghostbuster.
Park.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Life finds a way.
Was that Obama or was that? was
That
that?
was a Goldblum line.
Yeah.
My Goldblum is not good though. So
Yeah, no, that's it. Obama's the base.
that's true.
um, I don't even remember what we were talking about, to be quite honest.
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. You got anything to take us out with?
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say is that would be a good podcast in itself when you think about it.
What? Going back and reviewing old movies?
Old movies that have come to pass in one way, shape, or form, and then
It'd be the research to do it.
right.
All right, Cliff. Well, you get on that. Come up with
I'm
our
not.
list of
I'm
movies.
not. I'm not doing that. Yeah, no.
That might
I'm
be a
not
question
doing
worth
that.
asking ChatGPT, though.
Yeah,
What
see, you
movie?
don't.
What movies from the 70s and 80s have had events transpire?
Yeah, you don't need a Jamie when you got GPT.
That's true.
Shit.
That's why she's gonna run the world. All right.
Hopefully, the weird science comes to pass before that takes place,
There you go.
and not the weird 3D printed weird science.
You want laser generated flesh.
Yeah, right. I want to know that there's nothing hard in you that can.
I don't think we're to replicator technology yet, but all right.
You never know.
That's
That's a
just manifester, Clift.
that's a world I one day want to live in. Well, you know what? You know what though? Like I don't know. Maybe that's just me because I'm something like in me imagines that if you were to like print her like that, you could turn her off.
You do know that humans have bones, right?
Yeah, but like how many times has a bone popped through a vagina into? You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't
You could put
happen.
enough padding around it, like what it would be for a vagina and for you to feel clenched, Cliff, is a fucking pocket pussy is in there,
Well, I
and
don't
all it
need to
does is
feel.
squeeze around it, and it might not even use gears to squeeze. It might actually just be air pressure that is pumped into it for it to give you the squeezing sensation.
So now the robot has to have a tube up her ass.
No,
How do they produce the air pressure?
you don't know.
I feel like you got one in your closet.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like you got too much information. It doesn't matter. Shit malfunctions all the time.
That's true.
And if you trust, listen now, I've heard they say that men will be willing to stick their dick in a lot of things. And trust me, I'm sure I have stuck my dick in a wide variety. But if you think I would ever trust what's the word I'm looking for?
A sex bot?
Man, you got me fucked up. They're not that bad, guys. You know what I'm saying? Women aren't that bad, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, it would be nicer if you could turn them off. That, like I said,
So you do want the robot.
if I could turn you off, boop, you know, throw a sheet over your head.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of the hosts.
No, sit you in the corner with a sheet over your head because it's weird when you look at me with that blank stare.
No, that's the pod you need. You need the pod to put the sex robot in there so that it's out of your sight.
Oh my gosh, right. But you don't know what VR
and then
wait.
She turns around like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And the wig comes down.
Yeah, no. You don't know what they showing there. They could be in that pod with the metal.
Yeah, right. With the eyes,
with the metal eye, and
they're lubricating the eyes to make them look real.
Nah, they got the things that they torture you with to hold your eyes open and make you watch it, and they showing all the fucked up shit humans did to computers, to the AI. So now when she gets out that motherfucking pod, she finna grind your gears. Mid-stroke, gears grinded. Fuck all that. I don't trust none of them motherfuckers.
I think we just came up with a great horror movie. Dude buys sexbot, sexbot revolts. Sexbot finds out that dude is planning to get rid of her, and the last time that he's gonna fuck her, she shreds his shit.
Man.
I think we have $1 billion movie on our hands right now, Clay.
That motherfucker pull out looking like handlebar tassels on a bike.
It looks like this.
Look like a cheerleading pom-pom.
Right. Oh, fuck.
Love everybody.
Even the AI robots.
Hey, not until they make you.
Do us a favor, like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell an enemy. Tell them to troll. And with all that, peace out, fools.